Senior year, I'm just going to push off the top of my head, but it started off with me just going through high school, not necessarily trying. At this rate, I'm at the top of the hierarchy in high school standards, and I'm still playing tennis. I'm doing really, really good. I'm usually like within one and third string. Singles is my go-to. There was just some really good freshmen who had been playing all their life, and they kind of like would be the better players by then. And so there even got to a point where I couldn't even play some tennis games and almost CIF because of my grades. Again, my grades weren't great. There was just things like in math where I would struggle. And when I was struggling, I would be doing things like, it's like I would start off really good, but then one day I wouldn't pay attention. And if you don't pay attention for one day in math and you miss the way to do an equation, and the next day the equation stacks on top of that, you kind of just barrel into putting yourself into a very difficult position if you're not going to tutoring after. And my main intent at the time wasn't really to tutor, it was to just go hang out with friends. And so I'd also like to mention that in this time of junior year summer school, and I wasn't really going back to my mom's like back and forth like how I was when I was doing it in middle school or beginning high school freshman year. At this point, I just wanted to hang out with my friends, and because of that, I just never called, talked, or visited my mom. When I did visit, she was dating this guy. She had gone from dating women to dating this one guy named Rob. He was like a second father figure, and unlike my father, who did maybe try to teach me to do like some one car fixing thing, I think with the battery, this guy taught me a lot. He voluntarily always tried to teach me, always called me forward, and every time I visited him, we would play Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, or a bunch of like computers, because he would like have 10 computers set up in his garage, and all his friends would visit here and there. And I loved that lifestyle. It was very fun to just game. But so even when I visited my mom, I wasn't even really visiting her. It was more like, hi, thanks for dinner, love you, hug, and then just suck into hanging out with Rob, who has now passed away, by the way, bless his soul. So both him and her have passed, I think, within a year maybe of each other. There is a falling out, kind of, but we're not going to go into that just yet. That'll be later on. And they had been dating for like 6, 7 years. And so again, my visiting of mother wasn't really necessarily visiting her as much as it was just adhering to my own version of trying to entertain myself. And maybe that furthered the isolation in her, where she probably thought, oh, when my son actually visits me, because he never calls, and I never called anyone really, then it wasn't really for me in the first place. And you stack down upon of like any other emotions maybe she's feeling, like with my sister or other family things or potential arguments or finances. These things can build up secretly, because even though she was smiling, deep down inside, maybe she wasn't. She was actually hurting.